Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. Today, we are going to have a discussion on chapter 2 of the book Ask and It Is Given. This chapter is called We Are Keeping Our Promise to You. We are reminding you of who you are. And in this chapter, basically, Abraham is talking about the reason and the philosophy behind life on planet Earth. Abraham is talking about our relationship with the larger part of us, that part of us that we call Source. So, they start by asking some really important questions. And those questions are, do you know what you want? Do you know that you are the creator of your own experience? Are you enjoying the evolution of your desire? And do you feel the freshness of a new desire pulsing within you? So, if we were just to take these questions apart, we could spend all half an hour just discussing these questions. Because do you know what you want? You see, what happens is most of the time we define what we want in terms of physical objects or things that we attribute our success to. So I want that job, or I want that house, or that relationship, or it would really make me happy if I had that watch or that necklace or that car, things like that. Whereas what we really want is joy. That's what we really want, is joy. We want to feel good about where we are. And every time we give birth to a new desire, what we're reaching for is joy. Because if you say you want something, let's say I say I want this pen. If I say I want this pen, then what I'm really saying is that if I have this pen, then I will feel happy. But law of attraction is sort of turns things around for us, because law of attraction says if you want this pen, get happy first and then the pen will come. And that's what law of attraction is all about. Law of attraction is joy. Oh, sorry, hang on guys. All right. That's better. So what we really want to achieve is joy, and we think that that joy is going to come to us through all these things that we give birth to, these desires that we have. But that's not what it's really about. And if we start restating what we want, and we start saying that what we want is joy, then everything opens up. Because now you've given permission to the universe to bring you all those things that would make you happy. So that's what it's all about. Let's take the second question. Do you know that you are the creator of your own experience? Well, that means knowing all of law of attraction. Basically, that sums it up. Do you know that you are the creator of your own experience? Which means nobody's doing something to you. Nobody's doing something to us. Nobody's taking things away from us. Nobody's giving us things that we don't want. All of that, if we stop thinking that way, if we start thinking that we create everything that happens to us, truly take ownership for it, that we have complete control and there is nothing that we are not in control of. We are in control of the way others behave towards us. We are in control of the success or the lack of success that comes to us. We are in control of all of that. If we could just start believing that, then things would become a lot easier for us, because we wouldn't assign the blame to someone else. We wouldn't hold someone outside of us responsible for those things that happen to us. And if we start taking ownership, then only can we find the right solutions to all the things that we want. That's how solutions come. Because as long as we assign someone else responsibility, or we give the blame to someone else or some event, then we will not be able to find the guidance or the solutions that we want in order to get to the next step in our lives. So that's what it is all about. All right. So, let's go to the next question. The next question is, are you enjoying the evolution of your desire? And what that means is, when you give birth to a desire, it feels good in that moment. And our desires keep evolving and becoming more because we never stop wanting things. We never stop reaching for more. So that's what that question means. Are you enjoying the evolution of your desire? Because I think that being alive is all about having those desires. Hang on one second. Let me go back to that. All right. So the evolution of your desire, you give birth to a desire for a house, and now you have this house. And you think that, oh, now I should be done with wanting homes. No, that's not how it works, because all that means is that you're going to give shape to your preferences about this house, and therefore you're going to create another house. And so that's really how things work in the universe, because we never stop wanting things. We never stop asking for things. So our desires are in a constant phase of evolution. Because when we want something, and let's say we get it, let's say it was this pen, I wanted it, now I have it. Well, now I can look at it and say, well, I wish it was different. I wish it wasn't shaped like this. I wish it was a different color. I think I might enjoy a different shape and a different color. And I'd like it to be a little bigger. You know, all these things. So once we get one thing, we are on to the next thing. We never stop wanting things. So our desires are in a constant state of evolution. All right. So then Abraham goes on and talks about the fact that when we have unfulfilled desires, that is when we do not feel good. And if we want to manifest the things that we want, which is really, it is an important part of being a creator, is to manifest things that we want, because manifestation is an indicator that we are closing the gap between who we are and our source. That is the indicator that we are closing that gap. And so, moving on, when you have achieved everything on your current list of things that you desire, there will be another list. It's never going to go away. Wanting things is never going to go away. But then Abraham says something really, really important. And they say, there is nothing that you cannot be, do, or have. And those are important words to remember. The reason they are important to remember is what I teach is, and there's another video on this subject, is core beliefs. I can have, be, or do anything I want is a core belief. That is a fundamental of the law of attraction, that if we grab a hold of it and we keep reminding ourselves of it, then we are going to continue to improve our lives. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you want to get promoted to a certain position. And then you think, oh no, there are 10 other people who are applying for that job, and I'm the least qualified of all of those 10 people. Well, now that thought is in opposition to the belief I can have, be, or do anything I want. So when you think a thought like that, you have to ask yourself the question, but I want to believe, or I believe that I can have, be, or do anything I want. So I should discard this thought. This thought is not worthy of my time and the effort that I'm putting into thinking it, because it is in opposition to my core belief, which is I can have, be, or do anything that I want. So if we start living our life by using our core beliefs as a benchmark for us to keep going back to, then we can always make our lives better and better and better. It just keeps becoming easier and easier and easier. Okay? Wonderful. Okay, so let's move on. Now, what I found really, really interesting, and remember, I'm going back to reading this book, I think after at least 3 or 4 years. So my last reading of the book was 3 or 4 years ago. And I think the first time I read it was actually 2007. And since then, every 2 or 3 years, I'll pick it up and read it again. Usually, I listen to it in my car because I like the audio version of it. But I want to point your attention, and I hope that you do have the book, because I'm on page 8 of the book just now. And the section that starts with, "You said I will live in joy." Oh my God. This section is so important, because this section is basically telling us the agreement that we had with Source. It is basically telling us that this is the agreement that we made when we came into this world and we took on physical form. And that's what this section is telling us, and I'm going to read little bits of it so that we can discuss them. "You said, I will go forth into the physical time-space reality among other beings, and I will assume an identity with a clear and specific perspective. I will learn to see myself from that point of view, and I will enjoy being seen as that point of view." See, this is like the contract. So a lot of times Abraham talks about this contract that we make with the non-physical part of us, or the intention, not the contract. The intention is a better word. We set out this intention before we take birth in our physical bodies. And the intention that we set forth is that we are going to go into this physical body and create a new perspective of seeing this world through these eyes and this personality, to the exclusion of what we have been before. So this is going to be a fresh, brand new experience for us to learn from. Okay? You said, "I will observe what surrounds me, and my response to what I observe will cause my own valuable personal preferences to be born," which is what we were talking about just a short while ago, that it is all about giving birth to those preferences which help us to grow, because it gives us something to reach for, something where once we give birth to a desire, here is our desire, but in order for us to get to our desire, to close this gap between where we are and where the desire is, we need to raise our vibration and bring our vibration to the same level as our source. Okay, so, and then you said, "I will always feel the power and value of my own personal perspective, for the non-physical energy that creates worlds will flow through my decisions, my intentions, and my every thought for the creation of that which I set into motion from my perspective." So you see, those words are really important, because there what Abraham is saying is, once you give birth to the desire, if you continue to remember that reaching that desire or manifesting that thing that you want is not a difficult thing to do, because of the fact that You are an extension of that source. You are flowing that energy forward. And because you are flowing that energy forward, there is no need to question that will I be able to achieve this or not. There's no need to question that. And all of doubt is that, isn't it? We question our ability to actually have, be, or do the things that we give birth to in the form of our desires. So as long as we keep reminding ourselves that we are not separate, and because we are not separate, we have access to all that power. All of that power is our power. It's not separate from us, and we can use all of that power. So my power is not just the strength of this physical body. I have mental power, and my mental power is actually energized by the energy that creates the whole universe. It's that same energy that keeps the planets orbiting around the sun in a perfect path. It's that energy that brings trees back after a winter. It's that same energy that makes a bumblebee fly against the principles of physics. That energy, we have access to that energy. And that energy is the energy that creates worlds, and that energy is available to us. It is there. It is supporting us in all our desires. So if we could just stop asking the question, how will it happen? And answer it by saying, I don't need to make it happen because I know I can have, be, or do anything I want. So it's Source's job to open that door for me. It is not my job. So if we could just keep remembering these things, then life would just be so easy, and it would be fun and joyous, and we would have so much fun. And that's really our purpose. As Abraham says, not in this chapter, but Abraham keeps telling us again and again and again that our purpose is freedom, growth, and joy. Freedom, growth, and joy. Those are the three things that we are always and continuously reaching for. So let's move on. And then Abraham says, you said that, you said, I will love pouring myself into this physical body, into physical time-space reality. For that environment will cause me to focus the powerful energy that is me into something more specific. And in the specifics of that focus, there will be powerful motion forward and joy. Powerful motion forward and joy. See, that's where freedom, growth, and joy. That's the growth and joy part. And freedom from all limitations, freedom from all conditions. That is what we are always looking for. That is what we always want. When we are free of all the conditions that hold us back. And those conditions really are the beliefs that we carry, the beliefs that we hold. Those are the conditions that have an impact on how things manifest for us. So that's okay, because we can always go back to our core beliefs. Going back to those core beliefs is the reminder that we need in order to stay on track for manifesting what we want. So then in the next section, Abraham says, we know who you are. And there's nothing that you can have, that you cannot be, do, or have. So Abraham says that they are sending this message to us in order to remind us of who we are. Because most of us, in many instances, have forgotten who we are. Because every time we worry about something, every time we doubt something, every time we hold someone else responsible for what is happening in our lives, every time we do those things, it is an indication that in those moments we are forgetting our true nature. We are forgetting who we truly are, and we are forgetting that we are an extension of Source and that we can have, be, or do anything we want. So, we are here to help you remember the powerful nature that is you. And it is important for us to remember this every day. So comment below. Comment below. I am ready to remember my powerful nature. I am ready to remember my powerful nature. I am ready. I am ready. I'm ready. I am ready for the freedom, growth, and joy that is mine. I am ready. So then Abraham goes on to say that we love where you right now, even if you do not. We love where you are right now, even if you do not. Because we understand how joyful the journey from where you are to where you want to go will be. And I want to spend a few minutes talking about this because just think about it. When you get to your destination, that joy of getting there is transient. It's gone in a few minutes. You don't keep celebrating your arrival. Let's say that you plan a trip and you're going from one place to another place and you're really excited about getting to this new place that you're going. Well, most of this time you spend on this journey, maybe it's a couple of hours, maybe it's a couple of days, who knows, that journey is long. But once you get there and you say, aha, I made it, and then you look around and you take it all in and you enjoy where you are, that only takes a few minutes. Maybe you'll extend that celebration to half an hour. Maybe you'll extend it to an hour. Maybe you'll celebrate all night, and maybe you'll celebrate for 24 hours, but you don't celebrate for the rest of the year. You don't stand there and celebrate for the rest of your life. No, you get busy. You get on to the next thing. You start enjoying the next thing. And that is what life is really all about. Life is mostly about the journey. Most of our time is spent being on our way to that destination. And if this time that we spend on our way to where we are going is not fun, if this time that we are spending on our journey is lackluster, if this time that we are spending on our journey is not enjoyable for us, then we are miserable for the bigger part of our life. Because getting to those milestones that we call success, that's one step, and then after a while another step and another step. So what's the point of that? Life is about being lived and having enjoyed on a daily basis. It's about here and now. It is about this and nothing else. So let's keep going. So then Abraham ends this chapter by saying, we want to help you leave behind any perceptions you have picked up along your physical trail that are thwarting your joy and power. And we want to help you reactivate the powerful knowing that pulses within the very core of that which you are. And I'll tell you something. We learn to suppress that voice inside that always reminds us who we really are. When we want to do something, when we want something and someone else says, no, you can't have that. Maybe they say it's not the right thing for you, or maybe they say it's too expensive and you can't have that, or maybe they say you're not ready for it yet. Whatever someone else tells us, and then we submit to it, then what we are doing is we are creating this belief system that we have no control over our own reality. We start accepting this, and we start accepting second best, and we start thinking in ways that hold us back because we start doubting our own power. When someone says, "You can't have this," there is that voice that says, "But I want it. And because I want it, I should be given this." And we need to pay attention to that voice instead of stifling it. We need to pay attention to that voice. And if you're in that situation where you feel powerless in that moment, it is still important for you to say to yourself, it's okay that I can't have it in this moment, but that doesn't mean I can never have it. And isn't that the difference between those people who say, I don't care what you say, but I'm going to get that thing that I want. And then they find ways to go after it because they know who they really are and they know that they are worthy. And I want you to know that you are worthy and I am worthy. We are worthy of all those things that we want. When we want something and someone says, or maybe we say to ourselves, that's too expensive, you can't have it, then we should not stop there. The problem is that we stop there and we accept that as being true. What we really need to do is to say in that moment, I can have, be, or do anything I want. And while in this moment, I can't take this thing that I want and bring it home with me, but I know that I can have, be, or do anything I want, so I am sure that the universe will show me a way, that the universe will provide me with the means to bring this home. And then leave it at that. Don't keep worrying about it. Don't keep looking for it to happen, because when we do that, then we are not relinquishing control to the universe. Then what we are saying is, no, universe, you are not powerful. You are not powerful and I'm going to make it happen. And it's the other way around. Our power is great only when we submit it to the universe. As long as we keep saying, I don't know how this will happen, we are not really standing in our true power. When we say, universe, come and help me with this, because you have power and I know I have access to that power, now we are on our way. So we have to make a conscious effort to always bring the universe along, always bring the universe along, always ask to use that power that creates worlds. We need to say that we are willing to give our control up to that power because it has a different perspective. The most important thing that Abraham is telling us in this chapter that I want to end this discussion on is that the perspective of Source is different from our perspective. That is where this chapter started. I read those words to you that said, you said, I will go forth into the physical time-space reality among other beings, and I will assume an identity with a clear, specific perspective. Clear and specific perspective. The perspective of the universe is a very different perspective. It's like the forest and the trees, where we see the trees, the universe, that which we call Source, that which we call God, sees the forest. So there are two very different perspectives, our perspective here on earth and the perspective of the universe that sees everything. And it is these two perspectives that need to come together. And when that happens, now that unison is more powerful than the two halves. Because when, like in anything, when you split things up, they are not the same as the sum total of all the pieces. So we are a component and the universe is the other component, and we need to bring these two together in order to bring that power together in a focus, right? It's like almost saying that there is this laser, and if you put this laser on anything, you can make anything happen. But the controls of the laser, there are two keys. One is here and the other one is here. Both keys need to turn in order to wield the power of this laser. Otherwise, the beam is split in two and neither one of them is powerful. So that is really what the law of attraction is all about. It is about us being able to bring that power, that perspective with us to the specifics of life on planet Earth. All right, folks, I hope that you enjoyed this discussion on chapter 2 of the book Ask and It Is Given. Tomorrow, we'll be back live again at 8 p.m. Eastern, and our discussion will be about chapter 3, which is entitled You Do Create Your Own Reality. All right, so I'm going to look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. In the meantime, have a fabulous rest of the day, and I look forward to co-creating with you in our next video. Bye for now.